Hello, I'm CJ Werleman, and in this episode, we reveal new details about the rapid exodus of Jews from Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories. But first, please remember to like and subscribe to our show. Now let's get into it. One of the most effective ways the Western media lays down political cover fire for Israel is by exaggerating its questionable strengths and ignoring its glaring weaknesses. And in doing so, a false illusion is constructed around Palestine, an illusion that makes Western audiences believe the Palestinian struggle for liberation is a hopeless and impossible cause. You see, Israel knows that you're unlikely to participate in a pro-Palestine rally or anti-Israel boycott if you believe the endeavor is a total waste of your time. Zionists want you to taste defeat before you've even had a chance to enter the fight. This was the logic behind Trump's ridiculous proposal to forcibly expel 2 million Palestinians from Gaza. It was also the logic behind the AI-generated propaganda video that was shared by the US president on social media, which supported his plan to ethnically cleanse the territory by featuring him and Netanyahu sunbathing in a Dubai-style resort, while Elon Musk is showered with dollar bills while walking on a beach. The message behind this was subtle but easy to understand. Don't waste your time protesting for Gaza when Gaza will soon be gone. Trump, Israel, and the media want you to believe the fate of the Palestinians is fait accompli, and therefore any form of resistance or opposition is both futile and fruitless. But facts on the ground speak to a completely different reality, one in which the Palestinians are staying put, while Israeli Jews grab their European and American passports to return to their countries of origin. These underreported and often ignored headlines reveal how the Zionist state is imploding and collapsing on itself. A record number of Israelis fled the country in 2024, which preceded a previous record number of permanent departures the year prior, with 2025 on track to be a truly catastrophic year for the Jewish state, as younger, more educated families head for the exits. This now irreversible trend is accelerating a brain drain of doctors, tech engineers, and other professionals, as Israel's elite feel they no longer have a future in the country. A recent Israeli government report warned that there is now a considerable likelihood that Israel will not be able to exist as a sovereign Jewish state in the coming decades. And it highlighted the reverse migration of Israel's educated elite as immense in comparison to their number, saying that Israel's economic growth is driven only by a group of several tens of thousands of people in a country of 10 million.
Moving on, Israel has long been known as the startup nation, aka Silicon Wadi, and the recent Israeli IPOs on Wall Street only confirm this title. Yet the nation is still facing a serious challenge to its intellectual capital, a brain drain phenomenon whereby Israel's best and brightest take their skills elsewhere as soon as the offer arises.
Prominent Palestinian journalist and activist Omar Barghouti also spoke to this unfolding trend in a recent interview.
Israel's economy is experiencing what 130 of its top economists describe as a spiral of collapse. With an almost unprecedented brain drain, a nose-diving tech industry, and a credit rating that is near junk levels, according to Moody's. Increasingly seen by investors as what we call a shutdown nation, Israel has ranked dead last among 50 countries in the just-released Nations Brand Index.
A new report by the London-based Institute for Jewish Policy Research reveals a dramatic reversal of decades of migration to Israel from Jewish communities in Europe. It says, "We can say that culturally and demographically, this is a real turning point, possibly the end of an era," end quote. They also said that the founders of Israel would never have imagined that it would be Israel that would be rejuvenating European Jewish communities, not the other way around.
Scenes of serenity after the chaos of conflict. People arriving from Israel at this shelter on the banks of Hungary's Lake Balaton say it's a godsend.
I was very afraid for my children to hear the booms, and it was crazy.
I live next to the Lebanoni border. They were afraid that what Hamas did, they're going to do to us. So we were evacuated.
She decided to come here to Hungary, which has one of the largest Jewish populations in Central and Eastern Europe.
There really are no good reasons for European and American Jewish settlers to stay in Israel. Its economy has collapsed. Its leaders warn of civil war and internal strife, while its external enemies become ever more determined, and as a military power far more powerful than its own seeks to outflank and outmaneuver the Zionist state in the Middle East. The sight of Hamas emerging from its tunnels in greater numbers than pre-October 7th had a chilling effect on Israeli society. It's Israelis, not Palestinians, who believe their cause is hopeless. And while the Zionist regime might put on a brave face in public, it knows that every one of its citizens is acutely aware that nearly the entire global population now hates the state of Israel, as a result of the unrelenting and merciless genocidal carnage it has unleashed on Palestinian civilians for the past year and a half. Everyone now knows that Israel has killed more children during the past 5 months than were killed in all conflicts worldwide during the past 4 years. It's killing babies while they sleep in open tents during Ramadan as I speak right now. For all of these reasons, Israelis know they are widely hated, which is making them extremely fearful, anxious and depressed about the future, as revealed in a new Israeli government report, which found 3 million Israelis, representing more than 1/3 of the total population, are suffering from psychological illnesses, with depression and anxiety ranking at the very top. And while this report highlights a 200% decline in mental health during the past year alone, we also know these numbers tell only half the story, given the Israeli government has a long track record of lying about almost everything. So, when Israel openly admits 1/3 of its population is mentally sick, then we can be certain that the real number is more than double that, meaning 66% of Israelis are in urgent need of mental health care. But as we discussed at the top of this episode, Israel is experiencing a growing shortage of medical healthcare professionals due to the growing exodus of Jewish elites from the country, which is also having massive ramifications on the Zionist army, as it grapples with its own unprecedented mental health crisis, with the suicide rate among Israeli soldiers hitting a 13-year high in 2024. This crisis was captured in a recent video showing Israeli soldiers screaming hysterically in response to the sound of incoming rocket sirens. Make no mistake, you along with every Israeli citizen just got a close-up look at the Zionist state's frontline defense. And no amount of aerial bombardment upon innocent civilians in Gaza can undo what you just saw. And nor can it undo what you now understand about the rapid demise of the Jewish state. But like a good poker player, Israel is trying to convey strength while holding a weak set of cards. Israel wants you to believe that Palestinians will be disappeared from Gaza at the same time Jews are fleeing Israel.
We plan to take what we acquired in the years of settling Judea and Samaria and to do the same thing here in Gaza. Will be, yes, actually you don't have to call me, because you will witness how Jews go to Gaza and Arabs disappear from Gaza.
Good Lord, when have you ever heard a Palestinian leader talk like this? Or any Palestinian for that matter? I mean, not even Hamas talks this way about Israelis. It never vows genocide, it has never committed a genocide, and Hamas has repeatedly stated its public support for the two-state solution, saying it wants nothing more than for illegal Jewish settlers to leave Palestine and return to Israel. Hamas has been saying this loudly since its foundation in 1987.
احنا ما بنكره اليهود وبنقاتل اليهود لانهم يهود. اليهود اهل دين واحنا اهل دين. احنا بنحب كل اهل الاديان. اخويا هذا اللي من امي وابويا اللي دينه مسلم، اذا اخذ بيتي وطردني منه انا بقاتله. انا بقاتل اخويا. بقاتل ابن عمي اذا اخذ ارضي وبيتي وطردني. فلما اليهودي ياخذ ارضي وبيتي ويطردني منها كمان انا مستعد اقاتل. أنا ما بقاتل أمريكا ولا بريطانيا ولا دول أخرى، أنا كل الناس معهم بسلام، بحب كل الناس وبحب الخير لكل الناس، كمان بحب الخير لليهود، واليهود عاشوا معنا طول حياتهم، عمرنا ما اعتدينا عليهم، وعمرنا ما أسألنا لهم.
The bottom line here is Palestinians aren't going anywhere. They are the rightful and lawful occupants of the land. Whatever Israel says and does is meant only to hide and deny this truth. But let me change gears for a moment, because I want to finish with a quick word about Indian-occupied Kashmir, where Indian occupation forces are moving quickly to criminalize Islam in the Muslim-majority territory, having banned Islamic books during the past 2 weeks. Our fears are extra heightened due to the escalating violence taking place against Muslims in India, where lynch mob attacks have become an almost daily occurrence, with several Muslims lynched to death during the recent Hindu holiday of Holi. So please, I urge you to include India and Kashmir with your activism for Palestine, because these respective struggles are indeed intertwined. But that's my time for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we kindly ask you please support our effort to expose and confront injustices in the Muslim world by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWellerman. We can't produce, sustain and grow this show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good night, good morning, wherever you are, and stay blessed.